tutorial for how to make a star cuff. Another example. You'll need pony beads, scissors, and string. This is what string I'm using. To start, you need a 1x X-base cuff. There's a tutorial for how to make one within the playlist. If you don't have string left over from when you made the actual X cuff, then tie about a wingspan of string onto it. Make sure that the string is coming out of these two beads at the top. String on 11 beads in a pattern similar to this, but it doesn't have to be exact. For example, when I made this, I used this. And when I made this, I used this. Now that we have our pattern of 11 beads strung on, we are going to follow these 3 beads from where the string is coming out and go through these 2. Then tug tightly, and you have your first point. Then string on your pattern of 11 beads again, and we're going to follow these 3 beads and go through these 2. Once strung through, it should look like this, and we're going to make 3 more of these little points to go all around and have 5 points overall. Once all 5 are added, it should look something like this. Now I'm going to string on the first 3 beads in this point, so I'm going to, for me, put a shiny pink, then 2 normal pinks, but you would match whatever you have. Now that I have the 3 beads strung on, I'm going to string into the 4th bead out of the 11, so for me it is this pink bead, and you're just going to string it on in, and pull tightly so that it looks like that. Then you're going to take your string and you're going to string it in this bead, and this bead, and this bead, so that is a total of 4 beads, 5 if you include the first one. So after stringing through all of them, it should be coming out of this one. Then once again, we are going to be stringing on the first 3 beads out of this so that it matches. Once they are strung on, we are going to skip these 2 and go through these 2. And then we are going to tug so that it looks like this. Then you are going to continue that 8 more times all around. Once you do it all around, it should look like this. Now I suggest tying at this point, so to do that, I'm going to go through this hole, and then I'm going to take the string and click it there, and then pull tightly. Now I'm going to string through these 2 beads so that it's coming out here. Once you string through those 3 beads, go through these 3 so that it's coming out the big point at the top. Once it's at the top, string on 3 beads that match these 3. So for me, I'm going to do big pink, medium pink, and then lightest pink. Now that my 3 beads are strung on, I'm going to go through this bead in the middle, right here. And then I don't suggest pulling tightly for this part because it might misshape these points and it'll be hard to tell it's a star once it's fully done. Then you're going to string on beads in reverse of this, so I'm going to put it in the opposite order, so light pink, medium pink, bright pink, but you would do whatever matches yours. Now that my beads are strung on, I'm going to go through the big pointy pink, and then I'm going to do that all the way around, so 8 more times. Once you're done, it should look like this all the way around, and now it's time to tie it. So I'm going to take the string and put it under the little bridge, and then have it click to that bead, and then I'm going to pull tightly, and I suggest doing that multiple times. Cut off your string, and you're done. You have a nice little star cuff.
Enjoy this video, short tutorial of me making a candy cuff. I was running out of string.
So there's no actual tutorial for this ever because it was a very interesting, intricate piece. However, for the flowers that all come out, because they're going to be given away, there's a tutorial for these on YouTube. That's where I saw it. For the flower piece, and then the base is just a peyote stitch. And they each have like little things on them, flowers or ladybugs, butterflies, all that. So that's the first part of those. The cuff itself is not a normal X base. The way this was made specifically is to fit my arm and like the entire thing, the muscle, be able to move. So when I originally made it, it was a little bit of X bases, and then it goes into a multi-stitch cuff. It has a break in here, so it can, bend. More X base, and then the top and the bottom, as you see, it's a little more flat, has the multi-stitch here. That is to make it constrict a little bit better because it's a heavy piece, so it will stay up and not slide as much. It also has throughout it the flowers all the way around. The reason this is flat is I don't want something hitting my head when I'm moving. So that's why it's like that. And then this part is just, 3D coming off, and the basic, 5, 7, 9, adding 2 as you go up. And then at the end, I just did the flowers again. I don't know, it's cool, makes me happy. I love candy construction, and this was one of those pieces that definitely took some time to figure out. Not as much as I thought though. But yeah. So then each one of these fits in. That's not even the right one, but like goes in. And I have worn it to an event before, so I know these aren't gonna come flying out as I'm dancing. Like it's in there, you know, it's in there. But, little things.
Supplies. Follow this pattern. Do not use the extra red bead. Tie it off and cut short straight.
Don't you know what you're sucking? You show me just that clue how the this we go. Don't you know, warm heart? And as you look to the horizon, now there's storming where this go to home. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you. It's not what you foretold. You'll never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for life. You're not there, but the time has hit you. You're not surprised. One step and that I just a because they can never with the sky, but now life seems like your last resort. It's not an accident, I know when here's your prize. As the last dream seems to deserve. You'll never see it coming. You see that my mind is the best for life. You're done there, but the time it did you, you're not surprised. I'm coming, but you, my game's always the best on by. You're standing, but the legend didn't catch it in time. Your next move, don't know what for you. I
requested, so I'm going to be teaching you how to make a kitty hat. Even if you're a beginner, this is really easy to do. The blue one is the one that my mom made. I used this tutorial and I altered it to make my pattern, so I recommend checking her out. This is what the mini hat looks like. Get an arm's length of string and then choose 2 colors. You're going to want to repeat what I'm doing here and then make it as long as your head length, like put it around your head. Make sure you end with white bead or whatever color you're using so it matches up with this when you tie it together. Tie that. You're going to want to make sure that this fits your head, and then you're going to cut off the excess string that's shorter. Now that you did that step, this matches the whole bottom rim of the mini hat. This is also it unfolded. You can see on the second row, it goes blue, green, blue, because these are the 2 blue pieces at the bottom. So for this one, since my 2 black beads are here, I'm going to do black, white, black, and then put that on the string. So that's on there now, and you can see how that matches with this. And then you're going to get the end of your string, and you're going to go through just this white bead. So this is what it looks like after I did that. And so you're going to do that all the way around, and make sure you pull as you go through it so it starts to stand up like this one is. This is what it looks like when you go all the way around and finish that row. If you have any rows that are going like this, you're going to want to fix them to make sure they're pointing outwards from when you're building on it, and that way it's less confusing for you. We're going to get our string, and we're going to go through this bead and this bead, so it's back at like the top of the row. Now that you're at the top, it's basically the same thing. We're doing black, white, black, but instead of going through this bead, you're going through the top one, so you're making another row. Be careful not to go on any of the white beads on the first row, or it's going to look really wonky. Again, make sure to pull as you go, because you can already see it starting to stand up when I pulled the first time going on this row. Okay, so now I'm at the end of that row, so we're going to put black, white, black onto the string. Now that's on the string, sorry if this looks confusing. We're going to go through this bead, not this one or this one. Be careful not to go to the wrong one, or again, it's going to look wonky. And then it should look like this, where it's like fully consistently going around. So again, you're going to go through this bead and this bead, so you're back at the top of the row. It's okay if yours isn't standing yet, because it takes multiple rows for it to really start to get sturdy. If you're starting to run out of string like I am, get another arm's length of string and tie this onto here. I recommend like double knotting it like 4 times and then cutting off these 2 strings. If you accidentally cut off this one, you can just retie it again. Okay, I'm back at the top of the row, but you might be confused from like how many rows should you do? So it's gonna be different for me because I'm doing a mini hat, and this has, you can tell by these like holes here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's 7 actually. So this has 7 rows. You can tell by that. This one has, I'm gonna count this and come back. So this has 15 rows. It depends on how high you want it to be, but also this is gonna get folded, so it's gonna be even shorter. It's very repetitive on what you do, so it's like literally the same thing every row. So I'm gonna come back once I finish the last one.
On the TV, which was pretty cool, but the staff, if they knew what was happening. But
I'm almost there. So I finished all my rows, and I'm at the top of the row. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put 2 black beads onto your string, or whatever your main color is, and then you're gonna go through the white bead here at the top that's also on that row. Pull, and then you're only gonna do this halfway. So count how many rows there are, and then divide that by 2. For my mini hat, I did 9 of them, and then I'm at the corner here, so I'm just gonna put my string through this white bead because it's on the same top row. Don't accidentally go to the one below it. When you pull on it, you can start to see it makes a corner in the hat. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go through these 2 black beads and then this white bead, so it starts to come together. So when I went through these 2 black beads and I went through the white bead on the top, you can now see it's like starting to close up, so you're going to keep doing this. So I'm going to go through these 2 black beads and then this white one because it's on the top, and then it's going to start closing even more, all the way through until we get to the end. I'll show how to do one more just in case it's confusing, but you can see it's working right here. These 2 beads and then the white one right here. It's a little hard to do this while recording, so just went through those 2 beads right there, and then the white one on the top. I'm going to go through it right now. Pull, and then do it again. Okay, so I made it to the end of the top, and because this bead is like sticking up, I'm going to go through this white bead right here so it lays down. And then to tie this off, we're going to get the end of the string, and we're just going to tie it to the closest string next to it and like double knot it like 4 times. Just knotted it, and now we're going to get scissors and we're going to cut the string. Now all you got to do is fold this up, and it's good to go. This is what it looks like folded, and then this is the final product. Thank you for watching.
Here, take the bomb. One, two, three, 4, you love to do and ask it for
to make this candy bra. Get a bunch of fabric string. Fold the string in half and start by adding one bead to each string and then one bead through both strings. This is called a payout stitch. This is how it'll look when you tighten it. And this first piece will be the center of the bikini. Now the tricky part. Skip a bead and take one side of the string down to continue the payout stitch. Keep going with that. More payout stitch. When you get to the top, skip a bead and continue. It's starting to look like a triangle now. I'm gonna connect these ahead of time, but you can always wait until you finish the other side. Corset this thing up. Cinch and snatch that candy. Time to work on the other half. Voila! Time to work on the straps. It's a basic payout stitch and my strap is for rows high. Attach them together with that same corset stitch from before. Gotta use a string folded in half for the next strap. I am making it a single. Here it is all finished. Thank you for watching.
This is a tutorial on flat bumpers. First, you need an X-base cuff with at least 4 X's. If you don't know how to do that, then this tutorial is probably not for you, because this tutorial can only be followed on larger cuffs made with the X-base. If you need a tutorial on how to do an X-base, I will add one in the description. To get this started, make sure you're coming out of an accent bead. You're gonna add 5 beads to the string. You can use whatever color, it literally doesn't matter. But since I have a pattern going on, I'm gonna add yellow beads. Once you have 5 beads on the string, you're gonna loop through the next accent bead. It should look like that. One day, y'all, I'm gonna have a tripod or a cameraman so you can actually see the process, but not today. So you're gonna continue putting 5 beads on the string and looping through the accent beads until you get all the way back to this one. So now we got some spikes going on. So I looped my string from this bead down to this bead. And you're just gonna do the same thing you did up here. You're gonna add 5 beads and go through the beads. Just like that. And then you're gonna keep going until you get to this side. Doing that gives you 2 rows of spikes. You're gonna take your string and loop it through these 3 beads. You're gonna take your string and loop it through these 3 beads. Now you're gonna add 4 beads to the string. And you're gonna put it through the next point. Now it should look like that, and you're gonna keep going through the points until you get to this side. You have that. Your string should be coming out of a point. You're gonna loop through these 2 beads. Now the rest of this is strictly multi-stitch, which is easier than it sounds. You're gonna put a bead onto the string, and you're gonna loop through the next bead. The bead that you placed on will go in the middle, so you'll see what I'm talking about when I do it. Just like that. You're gonna add another bead onto the string, and then you're gonna go through that bead. Continue that process until you go all the way around. So this is what layer 1 is looking like. So when you get to the end, aka this bead, you're gonna go through that bead. Now you're going to add a bead onto the string, and you're gonna go through that bead. Just like that. You're basically doing the same thing you did last time, just a layer higher. So you're gonna add another bead and go through that bead, add another bead, go through that bead, add another bead, go through that bead, and you're gonna continue that pattern. So when you get to the end and your string's coming out of this bead, you're gonna go through this bead. You're doing the same thing, except you're gonna start bringing these down. So you're gonna loop the string through this bead, like that, and then you're gonna go through that bead. And you make it part of the stitch, basically. So you're going to skip points. Since I brought that point down, I'm not bringing this one down. Bring this one down, skip this one, bring this one down, skip this one, and so on. See, I did not incorporate this point into the flat bumper, but I did add it to the blue one. So we skipped one, we're gonna skip this point, and we're gonna add this point into this one. Once you get to the end, you're gonna do the same thing, except you're going to do the ones you missed. You're gonna make sure each line has 3 beads. So by the end of it, it should be 3 beads, 3 beads, 3 beads, 3 beads. If you don't have 3 beads on every single one, you did something wrong. Keep going until you finish the flat bumper. So now once you get to the end, you have to tie it off. You can do this however you want, but me personally, this is how I do it. I go through these 2 beads, I loop under these 2 beads, put the string through the hole and loop that sucker tight. And that is how you create flat bumpers.
Wobbly wobble, wobble, wobbin', ass so fat. All these bitches pussies is poppin'. Bad bitches, I'm your leader. Venom by the meter. Somebody point me to the best ass leader.
What about that guy?
You got something to say? All my ladies, pop your backs.
Hello, here's how to make a candy star. You'll need 25 beads, 12 inches of elastic thread, and a clip just in case. You can use any color beads, by the way. Start off by attaching a border clip to the end of the thread. I do this just to be safe because I'm scared of the beads falling off. And then you want to thread on 10 beads. This is going to be the center of your star. So like I said, you can do any color you do pattern if you want. I'm just going pink because it is my favorite color. And then you want to tie it off, leaving one end quite long and one end really short because we're going to cut the short end off. And I knot this twice just for extra security. Here's my long end, and then just trimming off that little tail there. Then you just want to have a little fiddle around with it, make sure that all the beads are in the right position. It'll kind of resemble a star once everything is in the right spot. Just sort of give it a squish. It should look like that. And once it looks like that, you are going to thread 3 of your other colored beads onto the top. And here's me. Nothing to do. This is going to form the point. So once you've got your 3 beads on, we are then going to thread it through the next pointy bead. Like you can see, it's like dips down, that goes up, dips down, goes up. We're going to thread it through one that goes up, so I'm going to skip one. And then once you give it a little tug, it should start to resemble the point, and this is the point. And now keep repeating that all the way around, 3 beads every time, threading it through the pointy bead. This is like really hard to explain, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So make sure you're pulling quite tight after every one of them, and keep doing that. Alright, when you get to your last one, you're going to thread it through the pointy bead again, and then the bead above that, that's on the point. So that little middle bead there that's touching the point, thread it through there. And once you thread it through that little middle bead, here's where it gets a little bit tricky, so feel free to pause the video, slow it down. You are going to thread it through the point, and it should create like a little loop, and then you're just going to grab the tail, pull it through that loop, and then pull tight. It's hard to explain, but trust me, once you do it, it's so easy. It took me like 5 times when I tested it, but here I am again, going through the loop, through the point, fingers through the loop, grab the little tail, pull it nice and tight, and then you can trim the excess off, and you have a little candy star. They're so cute. Oh my god,
Let's make a candy frog. You will need scissors, 4 feet of string, 2 for the eyes, 12 for the limbs, and 48 for the body. Add 3 beads on your string, add an eye to center, and another eye. Take your string, go through the opposite side, like this, pull, till they meet in the middle, like that. Add on 5 beads, crisscross, add on 4 body color, 3 hand color. Take your string, and we're going to go through the 4 body color beads, like that. And then just pull the end of the string until it matches up and you got his first arm. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to do 1 more row of 5, followed by 2 rows of 6 beads each. 1 last row of 5. You're going to add on 4 body, 3 for the feet, go in through the 4 bodies, and pull it like that. We'll do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll tie it off. This is where it can get a little bit tricky. This is where you want to kind of make sure that your legs are pretty tight, that they're not super floppy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one end of the string, we're going to go in between here. We're going to pull the tail through that loop that you just created. So we'll put that, and we do that 2 or 3 times. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So ideally, you're going to kind of adjust it where the knots hide either in the legs or in this last row. And you're going to take your scissors once it's secure and just snip it off. And congrats, you've made your very first candy frog.
How to make frog-shaped candy bracelets. You would need 27 green and 2 pinks for the base circle. Then you would need 10 green and 2 blacks for the eyes. Altogether, you need 37 green, 2 pinks, and 2 blacks. You would need a foot and a half of string for the bracelet. I like putting a binder clip at the end so my beads don't fall off. We're going to start off with 1 pink and 15 greens. Add the second pink for the cheek. Add the last 12 green beads. Then you will tie it off. I tied it off with 3 knots. The 12 will be the top and the 15 will be the bottom of the frog. Make sure the long string goes through the first bead. Like so. You take a green, black, green for the first part of the eye. Put it on the string. You skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and you go through this 4th bead. And pull. Like so. You take the string and go through all 1, 2, 3 beads. 1, 2, 3 beads. You're going to take the green, black, green, and put it on the string. Like this. You're going to skip 3 beads again. 1, 2, 3, and go through this 4th one. You take the string and go up through the first green bead of the eye. Like this. You take 3 beads and then put it on the string. You got 3 beads on the string and you put it through the second green of the eye to make a completed first eye. You go through 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up the first green eye. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up the first green. Then we put the last 3, 1, 2, 3 on the string, like this. Then we put it through the second green for the eye to finish off the eye. Then we go through this green bead, and then we can take both strings and tie it off. I like making a couple knots to make it secured. 3 knots, and then you can cut off, and then you got a frog bracelet. I cut it off, and then I hid the knots within a bead, so now you got a bracelet.
I've never made a tutorial before, but today I'm going to be showing you how to make a candy possum. I'm just going to show you a basic little possum like this guy. Nothing fancy, but you could use this tutorial to apply it to make something, you know, like this, or even like this roadkill, however you want to do it. But yeah, I'm just going to show you a basic little possum. So to start, you're going to want to get a really long piece of string about the size of your wingspan and fold it in half. I use the fabric covered string, but you can use whatever string that you use for your candy. This is just what I have available to me and what I find easiest for me. Then you just put it on like normal, just get it through, like special right now. For the white, you're going to want to grab 2 white, put it on one end of the string, don't put it down all the way with the pink, and grab your other string, and you're going to go into both. It's a little hard to show you with one hand. So once you have it like this, where it's crisscrossed on both strings, you're going to pull the string so it meets the pink nose down here. You're going to get this little shape with the right, and I'm going to do that. How do I get? You're going to do the eye color you want, white, and the eye color you want. If you want to use different shape of the eye, that's completely fine. I'm going to do black just as easy to show you. So I'm going to do black, white, and then black again. That's going to be the eyes. There's his face. Now you're going to do white, and then the stripe I'm going to make gray, and then another white in that pattern right there. So once you're here, we're going to start the ears. The ears are going to be a little different from what we've been doing. So you're going to grab 2 black for 1 ear, so it's going to be on both sides of the string. But this is just one string example. You're going to grab the end and only put it into this bottom one, not to both, just the bottom one. And then after you have it like this, you can literally just pull, and it will pull down so it goes here. You look at that, and you should do it on both ends. You should like this, and now for the neck, you're going to ladder on 3 grays, just on one end, and then put it again on the other end of the string. Now you're going to do 4 beads instead of 3. Now we're going to do the arms. I'm only going to show you the arms once, just do time, but it's pretty similar to how you do the ears, but a little different. I'm going back to slow-mo for this just because I feel like it's a little harder, but you're going to want this pattern right here for the arm where it's 2 gray, black for the cuff color, and then these pink ones are going to be the toes. You're going to take the end of the string. This is going to go for all the limbs, and you're going to go in through the black and the gray. So just all of them except for the pink, like what we did for the ears essentially, but only through 3 of them. It's a little hard to show you, but it should fold in on itself like this, and then you could pull it until it reaches the limb, and you're going to flip both sides again. So it should look like this, where you have little feet if you do it correctly. And you're going to do 2 more rows of gray with 5 beads across. So it should look like this now. You start on the back legs, which is the exact same process as these legs. So after you have both legs on, you're going to do 1 more row of 4, like right here, instead of 5. So now you have his butt. You want to do his balls, which is going to be 2 instead of 4. And now you have the balls. You start on the tail, which is just going to be chain 1s, as long as you want it to be. I like it to be at very least 5, I think looks good, but 6 I think is ideal, but I can aim for 5 typically. So now you're basically done. If you want to finish it off here, you could just do like a normal double, triple knot. But I'm going to go ahead and add a little key ring to this guy. I got these in a pack from Michael's for like $5. They're really cheap. I'm just going to tie them with normal. I did a triple knot. You cut off the excess. And you're all finished with your possum. Let me know if you have questions.
Make a candy octopus with me. Starting with 16 beads for the base. On top of this is gonna be the second layer. Starting it by stringing a bead, so it's over the first layer. Ta-da! In the end, it should look like this. Repeat this for the second layer. Time for the third layer. Eyes. May have to do his head. Corners. Head. You have to move the string all the way down so I can add his little tentacles. The octopus is done.